This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. A plan to clean up a decade of mining waste hopes to breathe new life into a West Coast gold mine. Operators of the Helier gold mine expect to make more than $1 billion over the next decade as it reprocesses forgotten leftover minerals.
Beneath this lake lurks a legacy of mining's better days. More than 9 million tonnes of used material called tailings sits just a metre below the water near the old Helier gold mine. But still rich in minerals, it's caught the eye of investors who've found a way to clean up the environment while turning a tidy profit.
This whole project is elegant. We're going to be moving material from here that lowers the environmental footprint here to the world. We're going to be producing lead, zinc, silver and gold.
The waste will be dredged and pumped 3 kilometres back here, where it will be reprocessed and minerals extracted, eventually finding its way into products from fertiliser to construction material.
Whilst we call it a mine, it's not really, it's more about reprocessing. We're reprocessing the mineral-rich tailings that were left by Aberfoyle Resources when they mined the underground here in 1989 to 2000.
The mine has been under care and maintenance for the past 6 years, but its reopening will see new life and new jobs.
With a win-win for the environment, for the economy, for jobs, and with those 55 jobs ongoing over the next 9+ years.
The Minister today getting some of the early work started.
So green for go. Green for go, 1, 2, 3.
The company is expected to spend upwards of $60 million purchasing and remediating the mine. But that's expected to pay off well, with an estimated forecast revenue of $1.3 billion over the next decade. It hasn't ruled out searching for more gold reserves, but says it will focus on the current project. The announcement comes just a week after the Avebury mine in Zeehan revealed it would resume nickel production. While there's still hope Queenstown's Mount Lyell copper mine could reopen this year, bringing with it hundreds of jobs. The Helier mine is expected to restart as early as October. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
Meanwhile, Bill Shorten is also tackling voters in Braddon by promising to ramp up investment in recreational fishing. But a spontaneous challenge directed at the Prime Minister today took centre stage.
It wasn't the best day for fishing, but that hasn't stopped the Labor leader from trying to reel in a few votes. $10 million will go into a national fishing fund if Bill Shorten wins government. Boat ramps at Heybridge, Port Sorell and Macquarie Heads will be among those considered for funding.
We'll work in partnership with local councils who've been left to look after a lot of this on their own.
He says the ramp at Heybridge is a prime example of why upgrades are needed.
I held my breath when a couple of the journalists nearly slipped over on this decrepit ramp.
But then, an off-the-cuff challenge.
Tell you what I'm prepared to do. I'm prepared to debate Malcolm Turnbull next week. Why don't we have a debate on healthcare in Braddon next week?
Although it's a showdown we're unlikely to see, the Prime Minister's office saying Malcolm Turnbull debates Bill Shorten on the issues that matter to Braddon each and every day. The federal government has its own by-election cash splash, handing over nearly $200,000 to install CCTV cameras in Wynyard, Somerset and Burnie to detract crime.
The beauty of this money is that it comes from the proceeds of crime fund, that is, money that we've taken off criminals.
16 cameras will be installed in areas deemed high risk, adding more eyes to a region already under an intense political spotlight. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
An outlaw motorcycle gang member has been charged after 2 men were allegedly assaulted with capsicum spray outside a strip club in Launceston on Saturday. The 46-year-old man is charged with assault and using a dangerous article in a public place. Police say the incident also affected workers and bystanders at the scene, with some needing medical attention. The man is expected to front the Launceston Magistrates Court on August 24. And a Riverside man has appeared in court in relation to a serious assault which left a 49-year-old man in hospital. The 22-year-old has been charged with causing grievous bodily harm over the incident outside a Launceston nightclub early yesterday morning. He did not enter a plea and will reappear in court next month. The alleged victim remains at the Royal Hobart Hospital in a critical condition. A 20-year-old man who was diagnosed with meningococcal on Saturday now remains in a stable condition at the Royal Hobart Hospital. The state government was today once again urged to broaden the eligibility for free meningococcal vaccinations after 2 Tasmanians contracted the disease last week. Eligible teenagers can receive a free vaccination for meningococcal types A, C, W and Y, but the B strain is not included and vaccinations are expensive.
Disease is concerning in our community. It is a constant reminder of how vigilant we must be.
We would encourage the government and would absolutely support the government taking whatever steps they can to make this vaccination more accessible and more affordable for all Tasmanians.
Symptoms include fever, severe muscle pains and feeling drowsy. Anyone who believes they had the disease is urged to seek emergency medical treatment. The much-loved television series Rosehaven is back filming for its 3rd season. Today we got a sneak peek on set, the stars proving to be as hilarious off-screen as they are on.
This local pub doubling as a television set. Today, the cast of the award-winning comedy series Rosehaven filming at the Longley International Hotel.
Every episode, every series builds on the characters we already have. So if you've watched it from season 1, we're playing more with characters that you already know a bit about.
Centring around a fictional Tasmanian town and 2 real estate agents. The cast has already shot scenes at Oatlands, Geeveston and New Norfolk. We know this season involves a pig named George and a farmer named Dan, but the stars are keeping details close to their chest.
Well, there's a lot of Celia and I, so if you didn't like us last season,
don't watch
unfortunately we're in almost
it.
every scene again. A lot of character deaths.
Tasmanian-born McGregor says many of the storylines do come from real life.
It's a bit boring, partly from Celia's experience growing up in a small town and partly from my parents having a real estate agency for real. Sometimes we'll just ring up mum and say, "What happened?"
The state government has committed $500,000 to the season, which is expected to generate $2 million for the local economy. Rosehaven will premiere later this year. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
They support some of the most vulnerable animals in our community, but the Tasmania Dogs Home is in need of its own reprieve. The organisation says since the RSPCA shut down in the south, the pressure is increasing to offer more care using the same resources.
Hobart's Dogs Home's almost at capacity, with 20 dogs looking for permanent homes and more coming in daily. Those in Burnie and Devonport are already there.
The more dogs we can desex, the less unwanted puppies there are out in the community, so that's really important.
The recent closure of the Southern RSPCA site is a huge contributor. Just last month, 20 dogs were brought in from the same home in one day, many of them puppies, including these 4.
Whereas in this case, we received all 20 dogs because there's nowhere for them to go here in southern Tasmania now.
And I'm sure that'll continue to escalate, and obviously just cases, inspectorate cases, they're obviously coming in as well.
40 dogs are in the pound, with staff facing increasing pressure to keep on top of their needs, whilst running at a $100,000 loss from last financial year. There's significant and ongoing costs to keep the operation running smoothly here at Hobart Dogs Home, with 70% of its funding coming directly from public goodwill through donations and fundraising. Its CEO says there's an urgent need to create some more sustainable funding sources.
Everything increases in cost every year, medical costs, supplies, utilities.
It's a dog's paradise and thousands come through every year, but these furry friends would be happier bounding around their own backyards.
There's nothing better than being greeted by a happy wagging tail.
To donate or to volunteer, visit the website. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. Australian shares have closed lower with falls across mining, health and banking stocks weighing on the market. The ASX 200 index fell 26.9 points. Just a short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 74.37 US cents and 63.53 euro cents.
Richie Porte's cursed run at the Tour de France has continued. The Tasmanian abandoning the Tour last night after breaking his collarbone and the hearts of cycling fans around the state. On a stage renowned for its dangerous cobblestones, it's a cruel irony Richie Port's Tour de France ended with a crash before the very first pave.
It looks like there's 5 or 6 riders gone down. Richie Port has gone down.
I don't believe it.
It didn't look good. Cycling fans braced for the worst, and they got it.
No, he's not.
Oh, there he is. He's withdrawing. I don't believe it. This is so
Richie
heartbreaking.
Port's Tour de France, I think, is over.
A year of build-up broken in an instant. A tangle between tense riders just 10 kilometres into Stage 9, the same stage he crashed out in last year. The 33-year-old was taken to hospital with a broken collarbone, his partner Gemma tweeting a blunt assessment, "I hate cycling." The cobblestones claim their victims. Bardet lost a wheel, but Degenkolb kept his cool.
Has he got the strength? It's Van Avermaet trying to challenge. Degenkolb, power into the line. Degenkolb, he wins.
Doctors say Port will be back in training on the bike in 3 to 4 weeks. So disappointing. In better news though, Tasmanian triathlete Jake Birtwistle has stormed home to secure silver for Australia in the mixed team relay in Hamburg overnight. Birtwistle set up the win in the time trial, but will be best remembered for this sprint. Not content with settling for bronze, Birtwistle nudged past hiring American Kevin McDowell in the final 100 metres before landing in the arms of jubilant teammates.
I didn't really have much of an idea how far ahead he was, and it wasn't probably until about 500 to go where I got a sight of him, and I thought maybe he's starting to struggle a little bit. I might have a crack here.
And you can forget the champagne, Australia celebrating their silver with a less traditional but very German beer shower. Still overseas, and Tasmanian rower Sarah Hoare has won gold in the women's 4 at the World Rowing Cup in Switzerland. The Danish team took the lead early in the race, with the Australians in hot pursuit. An improved stroke saw the Aussies hit the lead in the second half of the course, going on to win nearly 2 seconds clear of their nearest rival. Hurricanes will be sweeping the state this summer, with women's BBL games scheduled in Hobart, Launceston and Burnie. Cricket Tasmania is hoping the fixture will inspire more young women to take up the sport, as the Canes look for a lift in the tournament's 4th season.
It's renowned for blowing footballs from one end to the other, but Burnie's West Park will soon be a home away from home for the Hurricanes' WBBL team. The side will play the first of 7 home matches there against marquee franchise the Melbourne Stars, and the CEO couldn't be happier.
From our side, by having a visible pathway and girls in the region being able to see some of their heroes play, that's only going to inspire them to play more.
Gearing up under new coach Sally Ann Briggs, the Hurricanes' final squad is yet to be confirmed, but Barbadian import Hayley Matthews will return.
It's really important that we make well-informed, good decisions, and having 2 new coaching members of staff on board, we've got to spend time with these girls to make sure we've got the right balance, but ultimately the right people. So we're slowly getting there.
Canes bowler Caitlin Fryatt says she's confident the team can improve in season 18-19 as the squad adjusts to the new coach's style.
Obviously a bit of a different accent, which sometimes it's a bit of a language barrier there, but no, it's good to get a few new ideas, and she's fit in really well, so she's made the move and she's got to know all of the girls, and it's all going really well.
The season gets underway on December 1. To soccer, and the Northern Rangers are still celebrating after upsetting an in-form South Hobart squad 3-2 at Darcy Street. It's the Rangers' first win over a top 4 team this season.
I think they're in a position where they know that we have to start producing and getting results, not only for the sake of the club, but also for confidence levels as well.
The Rangers' next match is against Olympia on Saturday. Andrew McCarthy, Southern Cross News.
To the TSL, and Lauderdale's Josh McGuinness says his team isn't talking premierships just yet, despite a thumping 59-point win against Glenorchy on Saturday. But it was another McGuinness who stole the show on the weekend. Brother Ben couldn't miss in front of the sticks as he bagged 7. The Southern Bombers have lost just 1 game since round 9 and now sit 4th on the ladder. The in-form side will also be bolstered by a number of key players returning from injury in the coming weeks.
We're just taking it 1 week at a time, the old cliche, mate. They always say that, but yeah, you're not really talking about premierships when there's still 6 rounds to go in the year, and we've beaten every side but North Lonnie.
Lauderdale's next match is against Launceston at Windsor Park. And the votes are in for the RACT Insurance Player of the Year in the TSL after round 16. A 7-goal haul to Lauderdale's Ben McGuinness was enough to earn him the 3 votes against Glenorchy. Josh Ponting secured 3 votes against the Tigers, while Cox Goodger snagged 2 in his 100th match. And Launceston's Rulla Kelly Mansell impressed the judges in his side's thumping win over North Hobart. To the leaderboard now, and Daniel Joseph is 1 vote clear of Taylor Whitford. He's on 14 votes to Whitford's 13, while Clarence's Ryan Bailey rounds out the top 3 on 10 votes.
Good evening. The best weather over the east and south today. Showers over the north and west. Hobart 14 degrees, Launceston and Burnie 12, Devonport a high of 13. 15 was the state's best at Friendly Beaches. Grove, Strawn and the Islands all 14, Low Head, St Helens and Ouse 13 today. Top rainfall was 9 millimetres at Pine Tree Rivulet after King Island recorded 14 overnight. A combination of high, mid and low level clouds swept across the state today. A bit of mountain wave activity in there as well. All that cloud joins with more over Victoria and New South Wales, linked to a front that moved over Western Victoria today. More fronts and troughs over the Southern Ocean, and a high has brought a layer of low cloud over Western Australia. Tomorrow, the cold front, which is now being described as vigorous, will cross the state, with another closing in on the bite and some strong westerly winds. North-northwesterlies to kick it off at 20 to 30 knots, increasing to 30 to 40 knots during the day, ahead of a westerly change. Swells to 5 metres in western and southern waters. Bit of a list here. A severe weather warning for damaging winds over the state, a gale warning for most Tasmanian coastal waters, a small craft wind alert for the lakes, a warning to sheep graziers for many districts, and an initial flood warning current for the Meander River. Into tomorrow, Hobart, a late shower, a windy day, 16 the top, 14 the high for Adventure Bay with showers, a windy day, 11 degrees for Tarraleah. Launceston won't miss out either, showers and wind, and 15, 14 for Devonport, 14 for Bridport with the showers on the way. Very windy conditions over Burnie, 14 the top, 15 for Strawn. Showers and wind for Marrawar, 14 degrees. And for St Helens, a few showers, very windy though, 15 the top, warming up to 17 for Swansea and 16 for Whitemark with late showers. On Wednesday, showers over the west and Bass Strait extending across the state during the day. Showers on the way again on Thursday, more frequent over the north and west, snow lowering to 600 metres, and a shower over the west and south on Friday. The chance of a thunderstorm too, but mostly fine elsewhere. A shower clearing from Adelaide but developing over Melbourne. Sunny weather ahead for Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane, and 32 tomorrow and possibly all week for Darwin. 11 degrees and partly cloudy in Hobart, 10 right now in Launceston, partly cloudy in Devonport and currently 12. Must apologise, Joe, for not looking my normal dashingly handsome self, but with the tennis, cycling and soccer on, I've missed out on a lot of beauty sleep, a problem you never have, I'm sure.
You look the same as every other night, but anyway, thanks very much, Murph. That's all from the news team. See you a bit later.